Alright guys, Star Wars Outlaws is going to be out in just a little bit more than a month if you are in early access. And so, well, it seems that IGN has got their hands on quite a few exclusives. Here is another one about a new moon that's coming for Star Wars Outlaws. So, brand new world here. I like that when we are having new worlds. I mean, it's good to see, revisit perhaps some older worlds, do a little bit of fan service. Sometimes not so much fan service for... for Canto Bight. I don't want to go there, but as far as Tatooine, that's awesome. It looks phenomenal, and looks like that's probably going to be Toshara. I believe that's the new one that they have heavily featured in a lot of their videos. So let's check it out.
Anywhere we want.
At the very heart of Star Wars Outlaws is the fantasy that all sci-fi fans dream of: the ability to adventure across the stars. 5 different moons and planets await you.
Wait a second. First, the video is a bit shuffling. I don't know why. Sorry about this. Wait a second. Are we only going to have 5 planets/moons? 5 worlds to explore only in the Star Wars universe? Come on. I mean, I know that there's going to be new DLCs, new content. They've got to add more worlds to that, right? Just 5. Are you serious? I mean, what do you guys think about just 5? Let me know in the comment section down below, guys. How do you guys feel about just having 5 worlds in a Star Wars game where there's thousands of them? It doesn't make any sense. But as I know, oh yeah, it's all handcrafted. I know, but they could have done a bit more. Come on, man. I'm not asking for 100 like Starfield, but maybe 10, 15, right? That would have been great. 5, they better have a lot of things there to do, and better makes a lot of sense, because I got a feeling that 5 is going to feel a bit cramped, right? I don't know. I mean, it depends on how big they are, but they said in the previous video that it just takes 5 minutes to go from one side to another with a bike, so it seems quite short.
Rise of Skywalker's Chili Kajimi to the classic deserts of Tatooine. But while fans will recognize many of Outlaws' locations, there is one that they definitely won't.
Toshara is a moon.
So I'm going to have to...
So, where do we go next?
Anywhere we want.
The moon in the Outer Rim, much like the rest of the galaxy, it's run by a corrupt imperial governor. While the Empire
because of course they're
in
corrupt.
charge, this is
it's
also
that women were
a
so before.
hub of scum and villainy. You have all the sort of major syndicates trying to vie for a stake.
Toshara is a brand new moon crafted especially for Star Wars Outlaws by the development team at Massive Entertainment. Inspired by the East African savannah, it has been molded to be as believable and immersive as possible.
Well, it's true that Star Wars often has environments that are inspired by real-world environments. Obviously, Tatooine is inspired by the desert in Tunisia, where it was filmed, right? We've got Endor, inspired by the redwood forests in American West Coast. So, inspired by Tanzania. That's quite unique.
We had to work out the demographics of the planet. We had to work out what are the major hubs. We had to work out fauna, flora, all of these sections that needed to
I love those animals. They
come together and
awesome.
also be weaved by narratives.
To learn more, we spoke to members of the Massive team about how they built a whole new world to be added to the official Star Wars canon.
Yeah, exactly. How is that a thing, right? How is that possible? What's the reason why adding a world like that? Okay, cool. I want to know.
So Lucasfilm Games loves when we propose something new and we bring them something that can become part of Star Wars canon.
I think that what they're saying is quite important here. Lucasfilm Games. In the end, nothing is done without Lucasfilm Games. So it's really important here that they're mentioning that, right? It's the entity behind the creation of these Star Wars games. They just let third-party companies, in this case like Massive and Ubisoft, to do their games, but in the end, they're the ones who have the final saying.
basically giving us a box of toys. We
Oh, did you see that? The Death Troopers.
take the toys out, play with them, but then we also create our new toys and put them back for somebody else to play.
Massive came to us with the idea of a Savannah planet once we sort of knew the high-level intention behind the story and where we wanted to go. We let them ruminate on what does that mean, what would you like to see, what do you feel like you haven't seen before, what do you want to reference.
For Tashara, Massive wanted a world where the Star Wars mythology's pirate-inspired elements could live. This had to be a place of high-risk, high-reward.
I gotta say that it does look great. I like how, you know, those dusty, rusty dust there that we could see. It kind of reminds me, I've never been to Tanzania, obviously, but it reminds me of the outback in Australia. That's what it reminds me
Treasure
of.
hunting, a land where getting into trouble with the wrong folks could lead to the equivalent of walking the plank into a Sarlacc pit. And so was born the so-called Gem of the Underworld, a moon ruled by a corrupt division of the Empire and largely controlled by the galaxy's crime syndicates. But
Nice.
it wasn't enough to develop lore. The team had to start with the look and feel of the very ground itself.
The ground? Are they
We
talking about
approached
the soil?
Tashara in terms of the general Star Wars design tenets where it has to be familiar, but with a twist.
It's like you go with the familiar, which, for example, in a place like Tatooine, it would be the desert, it would be Death Valley, and it would be Tunisia. For us,
There.
it was like
Oh, Death Valley
looking
as
at
well.
Tanzania as, oh, this is a location that if we would go out,
Okay, so that's actually a real picture of Tanzania, which looks phenomenal, right? It's kind of that. They made me want to go to Tanzania now. Nice.
and shoot a movie, we would pick this as our shooting location. And then it's like, okay, what else do we need? Like, you know, what is the unfamiliar element?
For us, Tashara was windswept plains of African savanna, but with huge
Yeah, it seems like wind is going to play a pretty big part here in this,
mountains,
on this
outcrops that have been carved so that a city can take place within those rock walls, if you will, and amberine outcrops which create a visual difference there too.
Amberine is the orange ore-like material that can be seen poking through Tashara's surface.
Oh, so that's what this moon is made of. It's amberine.
Inspired by an old Austrian fortune-telling tradition in which molten lead is poured into cold water to create shapes that reveal what's to come, the amberine forms into a variety of striking shapes.
Oh, that's actually a smart way to create a... Nice.
Wherever you're going, they're inside caves, they form plateaus, they even sort of shape into ramps for K to jump her speeder off
so that's
of.
what it is.
They also react beautifully to the sun.
Unusually for Star Wars, amberine isn't a precious resource like Kessel Spice or Beskar Steel. And
Also, that's why, you know, it's not mind stripped, or that's why the Empire doesn't seem to care so much, right? It's just sitting there and no one cares.
so it is left untouched and intact.
Okay.
That's not to say it's useless though. The moon's climate is incredibly
I love this, by the way. I don't know what kind, if this is for electricity or if these are farms. I would love to have like a house in the game as well, where we could just store stuff or, you know, craft items, do a little bit of farming as well. You know, just have some kind of laid back, relaxed life. You know, it's an easy life as we heard in it's a quiet life as we heard in Rogue One. And sometimes I just want to settle down in the Star Wars universe as well. I hope we'll be able to do that.
windy, and those winds erode away at rocks, cliff faces, and even mountains. And so Tashara's main metropolis, the city of Miragana, would have to be built somewhere that could withstand such a climate.
It's carved into the mountain, into the amberine.
So that's
you
how
have
it's going
natural
to
outcrop
That's how it's going to survive the wind.
of this very luminous amberine, which lets the light through that becomes a part of the ambient lighting of the location.
Basking in that light is the Pike Syndicate, the most dominant of Miragana's criminal organizations.
We've
but
seen
the
this
city's
guy
busy
before,
streets
yeah.
are full of opportunities for both a galactic scoundrel scouting for gigs and a player looking to diversify their play experience.
Stealing illegal contraband, running with syndicates. I could say you're a threat to the Empire,
I could, right? And she's like, but I won't.
but I won't have to if you're smart.
Every single location we had.
I'm totally. Let me know, guys. Let me know in the comment section down below. Would you actually pay off the imps here? I would. I would tell you, like, how much do you want?
To choose had to be a
Better
den
not be in trouble.
of scum and villainy, right? And in Miragana, you can do a lot of things. The first thing that you should do as a scoundrel, as an outlaw,
the
is
cantina?
go to the cantina. And in the cantina, you'll find lots of shady characters. that'll offer you jobs, or you can just relax, eavesdrop, pick up some intel, play a couple of games of Sabak.
Hey, there's Lendo. Look at that. Lendo Coloris and play a game of Sabak.
5-year races, play some arcade games.
Oh, I love that. I love mini games in games. You know, do a little something for fun, little challenge. I really dig that. I really dig those mini games here.
On the Cantina, you'll find a city split into several regions, each with their own flavour. The gambling district is constructed using different architecture and signage to the central market, while the Imperial checkpoint is built of the Empire's instantly recognisable flat panels and grid vents. No matter where you find an Imperial base on Tashara, it'll stick out like a sore thumb.
When they come in, they don't care about their environment. They just stamp down their base wherever they need. There are some Amberine pillars around.
That's what the Empire does in any game, and that's why we like them.
And we were imagining maybe that was an Amberine arc at one point, and they just cut that arc off from the top and just put their base there. It creates a really interesting visual that's seen from far away that you can really use as a landmark.
Beyond the city's borders, the aforementioned winds have eroded away the moon's rock surface to reveal even more unusual Amberine formations. A resourceful outlaw with a speeder bike could use such formations to hit even greater speeds during hot pursuits.
It's a very orange.
Okay, so how is that gonna work? Like, it doesn't have any magnetic advantage or something? No, I don't think so. Maybe how do you get more speed when you jump up? I don't
It stands out very naturally in the environment. So we could make ramps where you can jump off. We made the wind tunnels where you can see it carved out by the winds. One of the references was like surfing underneath waves.
In the process of planning out Tashara's geography, Massive even went as far as establishing the moon's wind currents all run north to south. This dictated the map's population density, road networks, audio design, and, importantly, the formation of the speed-boosting wind tunnel.
Oh, so are these what they're talking about here?
And so while the Amberine ramps and tunnels may be a gameplay-first element, it's all created hand-in-hand with world-building lore in mind.
For every
those particle effects here.
No matter how small, we want to think about what happened here, what is happening now here, and what is the location in general, what people do here. So we have a very clear idea of the history of the place and what the place is.
If you're still looking for Haas, I haven't seen him.
Actually, I'm here for you. I heard you're the best shot on the planet.
Oh, and you want to be second best.
A skilled outlaw can harness the moon's winds for their benefit, but not everyone is prepared to tackle such a climate. Remnants of those who tried to fight the winds and lost are scattered across Tashara's surface.
Oh, we're gonna have some good old wreck, finding shipwrecks, right?
Smart example of environmental storytelling.
It's a very volatile system. You have a lot of shipwrecks everywhere. People who tried to reach that system before but didn't know how to navigate these kind of currents to safely land.
But the storytelling doesn't end there. Those shipwrecks then become part of Tashara's history and economy.
There's very few natural
lots of scavengers?
resources to build buildings apart from the rock. They use all the metal from the ships that have crashed and building all the buildings with those.
With so much of Tashara's environment being made up of harsh rock, crashed spaceships, and strange Amberine structures, the finishing touch had to be something much more alive and endearing. While
it looks like a very exotic and cool place to visit. I gotta say that I'm gonna really enjoy just getting lost.
Syndicates may be the planet's apex predators. There are plenty of other creatures in the wilds to discover and befriend.
The first one that you probably will notice is what we call the Tasharan flyer, which is like a flying creature.
Yeah,
those just being
there.
attracted by everything that sparkles, and they steal everything. When you see them circling somewhere, maybe you can go there and find something of value because they probably stole it. But we have also the Goshiros. They are like the smaller creatures on the ground. They're fairly fun because if you pet them, they will just start following you. And maybe sometimes more of them will follow you.
Tashara has
okay, cool. So you got some of these little surprises.
More secrets to be discovered. But we won't know this new moon's best treasures until we explore it ourselves when Star Wars Outlaws arrives on August the 30th.
Well, I will be exploring those on August 30th. I think it's 27th, right? If you have the early
Until then,
access.
why not take a look at our exclusive Outlaws gameplay?
All right, well, shout out to IGN. I'll put the link in the description down below, guys, if you want to check out the original video. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Ira. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.